Sublime magnificence. Hey guys, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent, big ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube, continuing the Christmas spirit with another Christmas edition of the podcast this guy hasn't seen, and sharing in the holiday cheer, as usual, is my co-host, another one of my best friends in the world, El Director himself, Bill Smith.
Thank you, Omari. It's a pleasure to be here. I love this time of year. Ready to go. Ready to get into this.
I love the lights.
Yeah, I just hung those especially for you, sir.
Oh, thank you. All right, and yeah, so this week we're like I said, this is This Guy Hasn't Seen, where we trade movies back and forth or other types of media that one guy has seen and the other hasn't. And this week, continuing with the Christmas spirit, I have suggested the 2016 film Almost Christmas.
Right. Almost Christmas. 2016, a dysfunctional family gathers together for their first Christmas since their mom died.
Yes.
It stars Kimberly Elise, Omar Epps, Danny Glover, and many, many more. Directed and written by David E. Talbert.
Yes, that's right.
Omari, why this film?
So, doing the Christmas spirit and stuff, there's a lot of Christmas movies out there that everybody's seen, regardless of whether or not some that even people argue if it is a Christmas movie. But I figured, because I needed to reach to wells that you may not have heard or whatever, so I went with something more recent, as well as something, that, I don't know, might not have come across your radar. So I went with this movie, Almost Christmas, which I first saw in 2016 with my mom and sisters in the theater, because I went to a workshop for David E. Talbert, got to meet him and everything. And that October, and they mentioned like, hey, there's a movie coming out this Christmas. So I'm like, all right, let's see this guy that I can, that I'm, worked with, and see like what his works is, because I wasn't as familiar. And then since then, every Christmas that, I spent with my mom and sisters, just about, except for maybe last year, they've been like watching it. They watched it for like at least a good 3 years in a row. That was just their new Christmas movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. So, Bill, had you not heard of it, or why hadn't you seen this one?
I had never had stood out to me in the recent, let's see. So I've had 6 years to see this film. Probably the majority of those I've been into Christmas, watching Christmas movies around the season, donning apparel for said thing. My house is currently already decorated. I spent a good portion of today decorating the front yard for Christmas. But this one had never found its way into my rotation. I had seen This Christmas, which was your first one you had asked me if I had seen when we started talking about this. And so, that is about that's about where I was expecting this film to lie, as well, as just kind of a like, hey, this is multi-generational, sets of siblings who have broken off and started families, all having to come back together for Christmas. And it's crazy when you get that amount of people living in a house. That kind of Christmas movie is what I was anticipating. I had not read any of the synopses beforehand to know that it centers around death. I did my little deduction of the Christmas poster at one point and assumed that Monique and Danny Glover were
The
husband
couple.
and wife, were the matriarch patriarch
Yeah.
of the family. So I'll jump into my initial reactions.
Go right ahead.
That hits pretty quick. That hits. I mean, that's the opening of the movie. Is showing their life in a brief little set, and then the wife passing away, and you know that it's gonna, all right. So it's centered around that,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be a little bit deeper of one, which made me think of another film that I almost suggested next week, which I won't be, but I'll just go ahead and shoot it out there. The Family Stone is a film about family gathering around Christmas time.
Okay.
And there's a little bit more of some heavier, serious tones interlaced amongst it. And it's kind of the ultra white version of this movie, honestly, because it's like Diane Keaton, and it's like Rich Nantucket white kind of thing. So it is almost the antithesis of this, but in the same kind of setup.
Okay. Yeah.
So I immediately thought about that film, and I was like, okay, is it going to be kind of in tone of that? And I was right. It started hitting around that. It's very similar to a Family Stone, if anybody's ever seen that.
All right. Yeah, I do like the opening little intro montage with the "Ain't No Woman Like the One I Got" going on. I like that it's told without like narration, but it's like clips, because we've mentioned with other movies that I've suggested that a lot of movies of the African American culture, they love starting things with narration. This one didn't. It just, literal show don't tell. It's like, okay, clearly these two are in love. They're the happiest a couple can be, and they also just can't stop having kids as they get older. But everybody's happy. It seems like it's a hunky-dory family, but then you see the wife die, and you just see the guy who had done nothing but smile in all the clips. And Danny Glover's character just sad, just damn. And she died? Oh, I wanted to see what this is. And the way she's portrayed in the movie, she's like the merriest of Sues. Like, everybody loves her. She was like the perfect individual. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but because sometimes it's cool to have those kind of people where it's like, yeah, but it's just like, man, everybody liked this person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I did like how they made that go. And watching it, I slowly remembered how certain things would come in, because between this and this Christmas, going from watching one of those movies every year with my family to watching the other one every year, I go for a while without thinking, and sometimes the movies will
interlace a little bit. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this is the one with JB Smoove. Okay, this is okay. But yeah, any other, and it also makes certain scenes hit differently when you do remember, like, like when you first see the kid take the pills out and put them in his jacket, and I'm like, oh yeah, he does have the whole thing later with the. All right, this is also that movie. All right, so
shout out to A-Train.
A-Train, was that his?
Have you not seen The Boys?
Oh, okay, A-Train. Yeah.
Yeah, that's A-Train on The Boys.
Nice. Yeah, but
yeah. So yeah, we so the matriarch passes away. We see that Danny Glover has already. It's been 10 months, and it's Christmas time, and he's about ready to sell the house. And he's gonna clean it up and decorate it for Christmas, and have one more family Christmas before he sells the house.
Yeah.
The youngest son is in college, I assume locally at Alabama University or something like that. And he's on like ESPN and shit. getting talked about being drafted. Oldest daughter is married to JB Smoove, who's seems to be he seems to be depicted as a waste of space of a human being. Talks endlessly to anybody who wants to who endlessly anybody who wants to hear it about his little bit of professional basketball career in Croatia.
Where he won a championship.
Then we have second oldest son is running for Congress.
Yes.
Married, 2 children.
Mm-hmm.
Through him, we also get, I want to get his name because he's very funny in this movie. John Michael Higgins pops up in a lot of stuff. He's in a lot of the Christopher Guest movies. He's a really funny dude. He's his campaign manager. And then we have the youngest daughter played by Gabrielle Union, and they hammer home in her first several scenes that her character is, I am independent. I do things on my own. I will not take help from anybody. Literally on anything. My daughter wants me to help grab something out of a car. No, I can do it on my own.
I'm like,
they hammered that on the first couple of scenes of her, of like, this is her character. Recognize this.
It's like to annoying extents. It's like, wow, geez, you would be so annoying to be around this. What? I can't do so. Why? And like the daughter points out to her later, it's like, and yeah, a guy literally told you your hair looked nice and you were beautiful. And you're like, what? So if I was bald, I wouldn't be beautiful? I could do so. Like, yeah, that's a little too much.
Yeah.
But,
and so that's our family.
Mm-hmm.
And the Gabrielle Union has a daughter.
Yes.
And then we also have Monique, who is the passed away matriarch's sister, and she is apparently one of the greatest backup singers in the world. Yes, who has worked with everyone. And we even see in one of the montages, the last Christmas that her sister was alive, she sends a bottle of champagne from Paris that says Merry Christmas on it. So she is normally a jet setter, but she is here in town for this Christmas.
For this big family Christmas. And even though she is the sister-in-law, it's not the classic, I hate you. No, she and Walter are close just like they actually are, like brother and sister. You know, so everybody was close and together with this family, which really helped with the, selling everything for the movie. They felt like a family with like interactions and stuff, especially with Monique and Danny Glover in their like slower moments and stuff.
Listen, we're going to jump right into it and go into standout moments.
Go ahead.
Monique is incredible.
Yes.
She is incredible in this movie.
I agree. My God. I can't. Don't be saying my shit ain't good shit. Like, just the way she delivered. The fucking dinner scene was my first one where she had the whole dinner. I've got this.
Push a bitch again. And then her scene with Danny Glover towards the end of the film.
Yeah.
When they eat, when they decide to try his last attempt at her pie, her sweet potato pie recipe. Whoa, that is a great scene. Like that is 2 incredible actors, and Monique does such a good job. And that is Danny Glover, like one of the best actors of our lifetime.
Yeah.
And she is kind of putting him to shame in that scene. She is so powerful. Beyond, because she's so funny.
Yeah.
She is so funny. And You know that like the uh the film Precious
Yeah.
is like we were talking about in a recent episode with Jazz. For me, it's like it's hard. I go towards the smaller performances. To me, it feels like it's easier to do a giant villain of a
Yeah.
character, or like in Precious, just somebody so god awful.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, you got to take yourself there, but then you still get really giant big swings. And this is just like, most of the time she's asked to be the comic relief, but then she has like 2 or 3 scenes where she goes so hard on being a deep dramatic actress, and does it so well.
Yes.
And I cried in the sweet potato pie scene.
Yeah, I didn't cry, but that was a very powerful scene.
You're a coldest bitch.
I just said it was powerful and sad. I just didn't cry. Calm down.
Yeah.
No, I've cried.
I'm calm.
I shed tears. But anyway, no, she did a very great job in that scene. And a great job in the movie. She was definitely one of the best things about it, even like with this rewatch.
Yeah. You got a standout moment to highlight?
Well, like I said, there's the dinner scene where she had that whole table that she tried to come up with the best things from around the world. But
where was all of those? Where did she get all of the groceries? You tell me, Danny Glover, surprised, didn't even know that all the family was arriving that day. Had all of that shit, had mung sprouts or whatever.
Yeah,
mung beans.
Yeah, she's like, my mung bean casserole, and just everyone just like ripping her apart, just like, no, I didn't. The kids like
they're forcing them.
Yeah, the kid being like, you eat it. Why? I didn't do anything wrong. Don't argue with your mother. Dad, you eat it. Don't argue with your daddy. But no. It's like, damn. I did like her I liked some of her interactions with JB Smoove as well, just because they had the whole like always yelling at each other and just like, boy, don't you talk
yeah,
to me
I mean,
about this.
like I was talking about it with my wife. I feel like Monique, JB Smoove, and Michael Higgins, most of the stuff that we see weren't written. They were brought on to just like, all right, so you're supposed to say this, and this, and then also, you know, like,
yeah,
throw something in there.
Did anyone tell you you're quite the conversationalist? They should have told you that. Just as Danny Glover just stands there pissed off at him for showing up. Yeah, so, quite the conversationalist. Anyone ever tell you that? They should have.
Yep.
And looking at the bloopers at the end, I think that is literally what it is, because they have
because it's like those three people are the center of the bloopers.
Yeah,
really.
It was just like, he's like, you probably should put your ass on a plate with me. That just like, you can eat this ass, should bite your wife's ass. Maybe she'd stop being so mad out there about the food. Talk about if it got ass. I bite your ass, right? Every night. Yeah, what you think about that? I'm like, that had to have been fun to just sit there.
I was so bummed when JB's character takes his turn.
Yeah.
From being the lovable fuck up to malicious.
Yeah, because when he was on the roof, helping with the rooftop Santa scene's another one where he's like helping the kids out. He's doing his best to like try and make them happy.
No, yeah. Up until the grocery store scene, he's Clark Griswold.
Yeah.
He's Chevy Chase in all of the National Lampoon's movies. He's just a lovable loser. He's a goofball who doesn't. He barely did basketball, and what he did do, he can't stop talking about.
Yeah, he had that one shot though.
but he's obviously managed to be able to provide for him and his children.
Yeah.
Like between him and his wife, I don't think we get explicitly told what either of them do, but
Not really.
obviously they're okay.
Yeah.
And then especially
No,
fast forward to the donation they give
I think she's a
to
doctor.
Rachel at the end.
I think Cheryl's a doctor because at the beginning, when she gets called from him, she's in like an office, and I think she's like, 1 second, because she.
Oh, okay. So
he
maybe
calls her
he
at the
does.
beginning.
I mean, if he does nothing, and he's just like house dad or something, and that also tells me that that's not the first time I mean, also just the entire act of the experience tells the audience that that's not the first time that he's done that.
No.
That was a very quick. There was zero hesitation in any of that. It was just like, oh yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah. At first.
Oh, what? My grandma? Like,
Yeah. At first, it's like, okay, this is obviously there's some tension here and some vibes coming off of her, but he's just like, oh, it's a fan. I will pay, as obsessed as he is. Oh, I like that picture. Let me get it, because you can see she's even like manipulate. Well, you know what I mean. With her eyes, she's trying to get the situation to be there. So she's like, "Oh, just put your number in my phone and I'll send it to you." And she's like, "Yeah, I got this, motherfucker."
But I think at that point the character already knows that it's not just fan interaction.
And then when he came
with the
back,
number thing,
and when he came back to the register, that's where any doubt goes out the window, and it's like, "Yep, okay, you decided to go the whole way." And then, sure enough, goes back to the store, and she's like, "Help me get something from the back." It's like,
yeah, very disappointing. I was very disappointed in that. But I guess every character needed their rock bottom moment. Unfortunately, like you had the baby of the family was the drug addict. He was using painkillers following his sports injury. To numb the pain of his mom's death. You had like all right around the same time in the movie, you find out JB's cheating on his wife. You find out that the congressman's little handshake behind the scenes deal that he's making with some local businessmen are gonna rip down the homeless shelter
that his parents once needed to use.
Right. And then you also find out that Rachel has negative drawn her bank account over $400, which I don't even know how that's possible. how you could even do that.
If it's Bank of America, it's probably like she had like a few charges, or like let's say she had like $20 and she made like a couple small less than $20 charges, and then right before it would have pinned it, some like regular charge took her under, and then all like 8 of those charges, bam, 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 bam. That happened to me once in college. I got to like neg 260 with Bank of America, exactly like that, in one night.
Ooh, damn. Yeah, so like we find like all of these things come to a head. Like we've known about the baby of the family's drug addiction for a while, but he gets pissed about dad selling the house and runs off in his car, and he's like it's kind of a very tropey scene of like you know, music playing and loose pills in the passenger seat that he just kind of like and they never use water, they never use any liquids.
Eat the pills.
Yeah. And so you know nothing's gonna good come of that. And I feel like we go straight from there to Rachel on the porch viewing that she's negative 400, like, and then we go straight from that right to the grocery store where JB is cheating. No, it's terrible.
Yeah, the kid gets in the car, and then Gabrielle Union has the girl that he cheated with show up at the house. And all of that goes on with the reveal to everyone that he was cheating, which that scene ridiculous. Or hell, another scene I had.
That scene was weird. I didn't understand why they were all pretending for so long, and just like I don't know, like nobody wanted to be the one to drive. Like it's the second we stop pretending, this is gonna be some real shit.
Exactly. That's why.
And so, like,
that's why
nobody.
when the grandma line was there. They were like, "Okay, kids, y'all need to go downstairs. Just go downstairs.
Get out. No. Go. They set up a little.
Grandma.
They set up a little live feed.
Yeah, they were screaming they family the whole damn
You
movie.
don't want her to get grandma. Do not let Cherie get grandma.
Cheryl, don't go get grandma. Grandma don't need to come out here. Grandma don't need to come out here.
Grandma's a gun. Grandma ends up being a big gun. By the way, JB deserves it. Fucking dick. He doesn't get shot, but he gets scared.
It was just funny when he's in the kitchen. He's like, "You invited her to Christmas? Who does that? Who does what? Who puts paprika on potato salad?" And then looks at her again. Who does that? I'm like, yeah, you deserve
Fuck
to be
you,
caught.
dude. You cheated on my sister.
You deserve to be caught, but just.
I mean, Jen and I
Christmas
would be
dinner with it is a little much.
honestly. Jen and I immediately saw it as a genius move because of the position that Gabrielle Union is in the family. Of course, she's going to be the one to witness this. And then we automatically assume that then she goes home and she eventually, like, she's like, I feel bad, but, also a part of me is going to enjoy delivering this news to you and making you feel bad and reminding you that your husband's a piece of shit. But, and then you tell him and then she doesn't believe you. And because you guys are already hating each other and it's just super weird and awkward. Jen and I both were like, honestly, that's a genius move. It immediately gets brought out into the open, but then you don't have to you're not.
You don't have to hold that secret.
Your
that
integrity isn't questioned in the process.
True.
Like, there's no moment of like, is she lying to me? My husband couldn't possibly have done this. Like, no,
that chick was stupid.
He's
too.
here.
That chick was stupid too, not realizing what's going on. Why is she? I'm his wife, you dumb bitch.
I think Monique was like, next time you bring a bitch to Christmas, bring her up with braids or something.
Yeah, like, dumb bitch, young bitch, go be dead, bitch. She got the gun, bitch. Yeah. Shut the damn mouth. But no, that was fun. Any other big scenes? I did like the Danny Glover when they were getting mad that he was about to sell it. He's just like, "It's my house. It's my house. It's my house."
Right. I was like, put some bass in your voice, Danny. Danny, put some bass in your voice. Give it to him. Yeah. Give it to him, Danny.
and he's right. He's like, at the end of the day, I decide what's going on here. That, like, I understood everyone's sentimentally, but I'm like, if this is hard on anyone,
it's his decision, but for him to keep it a secret is also very rude.
Well, I'm pretty sure he was going to tell them right after the dinner.
I know, but like that still is like,
yeah,
like, because he knew he would get a lot of pushback from it, and it's completely It's completely understandable that he feels really bad right now because everywhere he sees is his wife. But all his kids are gonna think about is everywhere they look is their mom, and they want to keep that. Yeah, and so I could understand that.
Yeah, I understand the things, but I'm just like, yeah, but if anyone's gonna have a hard time selling that house and letting the house go, it would be him. And if he's had to already go through that decision-making process, he's like, no, I already went through this. I don't want to do it.
And also, one of his sons still technically lives there. Like, I know he's about ready to get drafted and stuff, or assumedly, but not anymore, probably.
Yeah. Also true. So he's upset about that. And like I said, I get the upsetting, but when he rips it up in the end, I don't feel like he needed to for it to be a happy ending.
No, I don't think so either. I think that was just icing on the cake.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's appropriate. Like someone in the family, like especially now, because like everyone, like what happens after that movie, I feel like, is Cheryl and her kids move in there, and Rachel and her daughter move in there, and Rachel goes back to law school, and they don't have to worry about rent, and
I mean,
and the baby of the family isn't going to be drafted probably right away, and maybe he'll probably, because it's just a shoulder injury, and hopefully, and his drug, unless his toxicology report goes public, and like, you know, drug addict rumors get cycled around, but otherwise he'd probably be able to go into the draft next year. But until then, he's going to need a place to stay, so the house may be full again.
True. It's a good way of looking at it. So yeah, boy, yeah, the movie, great. Lots of fun, like, you know, good dance scenes and stuff too. So, Is there a role you would like to play in this movie? Let's say it's not necessarily a black family, because it could be any kind of family. But...
yeah, I mean, if it's just if it's just not race dependent, I mean, which, you know, really I think a lot of this movie isn't necessarily race dependent. I think I feel like the congressman role, I feel like would be fun. Obviously, John Michael Higgins, the campaign manager's role would be fun to do. JB Smooth's role would be fun. I'd hate to be the dick in the Christmas movie, but
he does.
The first half of the film would be fun to be that character.
Yeah, you have a similar list to myself. I could see myself being cast as the youngest, just because, you know, baby face and all that. But, well, maybe not as much anymore. But you get my point. Bottom line is, I could see myself being cast as the younger one, especially back in the day. But I also like Michael, the campaign manager, or not campaign manager, but the campaigner brother. I thought that role would be pretty cool to have, just as a kind of do. Oh, and obviously the JB Smooth. I'm the Fall Guy comic relief. Yeah. But then again, you also are the guy that's just straight up sleeping. But I'm not tall enough to be a former basketball player of any kind of note.
Oh, and yeah, neither of us brought up, neither of us picked Gabrielle Union's romantic lead or mentioned their little side plot in any of this, which is okay. I mean, you could kind of take it or leave it. It's okay. God, Gabrielle Union's so pretty.
Goodness,
she's so beautiful. My goodness.
Oh my goodness, especially in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, she's in everything.
In general, but I'm just saying, I was just like, damn. Yeah. And yeah, their little side romance, it can be corny at times, but you can take it or leave it. It helps the character realize, you know, maybe she needs to look at things from a broader perspective than just her own. Like, because part of her whole hating all men is because of a misunderstanding about prom. And he's like, if you would have stayed around for like 10 seconds, you would have seen me break his nose. That's how he broke his nose? You didn't even ask? A guy that was talking to the guy that you like, you know, whatever, said something that pissed you off if he'd say anything, you know what I mean? And then he ends up with a broken nose the next day, and you don't even ask how that happened. You just think it'd be that way. That's how in her own zone she was, in her own head, like self-focused.
Right.
And I did like the thing where she's like, the three of us couldn't have fit in the car anyway. 3? Yeah, me, you, and your ego. He's like, oh, we would have fit just fine because your low self-esteem doesn't take up that much space. I'm like, damn.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, so I guess final thoughts on the movie.
I really enjoyed it. You know, it's a Christmas movie. Or it's like it's a family movie kind of thing. Literally. It is a movie about a big family, and I think this one does it very well. I I'm hurt by the JB Smooth character turn, but I can't be mad at it because it's effective.
Yeah.
And so if that's what David E. Talbert was going for, then it worked. So yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. This is probably going to slot into my Christmas rotation of like, which means I'll end up watching it every other to every third Christmas.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I like it. Like I said, I've got a bit more sentimental value because my mom and sisters and we would watch it. But I also like something about it that I've heard mentioned elsewhere, and I kind of echo the sentiment. I like black movies that don't necessarily have to take place in like the hood. Like, you know, like middle to middle, upper middle class black families and stuff exist too. And that's pretty much what this one is. Yeah, the dad was a blue collar mechanic, but he owned a chain of 6 shops. So he made money off of that mechanicness, and just about everybody in that family pretty much was well off, except for Gabrielle Union, but that was highly because of her very self-focused, I'm gonna do it my way mentality. No charity. I'm not your charity case. Me. So I like when they do focus on different aspects like that, because you don't get a lot of black movies that have that as their main focus family. So yeah, it's a good movie. I think people should check it out. And yeah, so I guess what are we watching next week?
It'll be our last week of the holiday season, and I was skimming through my as I said, my regular rotation of Christmas films, and I know there's a number of them that you have not seen, like for instance the one I mentioned earlier, The Family Stone.
Yeah.
But it's all in all the same film.
Fair.
It's either going to be the same film in kind of feel and vibe to the first one we watched, Jack Frost, or to this one we watched this week, of just kind of a family gets together at Christmas time kind of vibe. Oh, look at this crazy family. Yeah. So I was thinking, what else do I revisit every year around this time of year? And it is something that has been very important to me throughout my adult life, and that is BBC's Doctor Who. So instead of watching a Christmas film, I thought we would check out a couple of Christmas specials, because Doctor Who is iconic for their Christmas Day release of a special episode. It's usually standalone, does not involve an overarching plot or anything like that. Just a special episode for Christmas time. And I've selected 2 of those for us to watch next week. One is called Voyage of the Damned.
All right.
And then the other one is called The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. And that is one with David Tennant and one with the Dr. Matt Smith.
All right.
So I hope we'll watch those next week, and I hope we enjoy it.
All right. I'm looking forward to it. Doctor Who. Indeed. So yes, if you guys want to see more stuff, obviously you can find those other videos of ours on this channel. You can also find some videos of me doing reviews of like Dragon Ball Z movies and the like with a buddy of mine who goes by the name of Super Jazz. He and I have a podcast called the Whatever We Want Podcast. You can find it on YouTube with new episodes every week, every Wednesday. I am also on Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi. That is Giotavi.
Come on in. Stop on by.
Thank you very much. And Bill, you got anything you want to say to people? Any shout outs for the folks?
No.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next week with the Doctor Who specials. Adios.